Hello, my name is Dakota, and this is Maggie and Liv, and we are in the Nonprofit Communications course, and this semester we worked with literacy volunteers in Massachusetts. So we're going through a couple questions about our experience with this service learning partner and how it was. So for Liv and Maggie, did you prefer this type of service learning to others you've done in the past? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. I think some of the service learning opportunities that I've had in the past, it was really service-based and focusing more on like volunteering within an organization, which I feel like while it was helpful to the organization, I wasn't always fully utilized. So I think with this project, it was more, we weren't as hands-on with the organization in a sense of like spending time within their building, but we had that close contact with them and were able to put together a more like contextualized plan and more like of a hard project that will still benefit them probably as equally as if we volunteered with them, but in a different way that I enjoyed.
So I have a bit of a differing opinion. I'm a part of a service organization on campus called Peace Through Play, where I serve as the e-board. So I think I have a different experience of you as where I was like really, really utilized because I'm like in a higher position. I'm not just a volunteer, so I sort of prefer that. Also, as an SLTA for another class that is direct service based, I guess that's just like where more of my interests are. Not to say that I didn't enjoy this project, but I think I am just more of a person that appreciates more of like the direct service and like going in and being like knowing like this is what I've done and I can see the concrete output of it. Whereas like we're gonna have to wait. I guess like I'm just sort of more like I go, I serve, I know what I've done, and then I can come back and like build on it the next week.
Yeah. I think those experiences are really rewarding too. Like I was paired at Casa Nueva Vida last semester where I basically just like played with kids for like an hour and a half, and that was a really rewarding experience. But I think I like the difference in this project.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Dakota, which one did you like better?
Well, I was thinking, and this question came up when Maggie was speaking, I was thinking, do you guys think that direct service has less of a long-term impact when this could have more of a long-term impact? Do you think they're equal?
I think it depends on the organization that you serve with.
Yeah.
I think for some instances, like, yes, what we've done in this class has more of a long-term basis, but then like, you know, like stuff with like tutoring and stuff that has a lot more long-term basis for the individual that you tutored. I think it totally depends on the organization.
Right. I think it depends on the direct connection.
Yeah. Because I worked with Casa Nueva Vida as well, and the kids couldn't even remember my name from week to week, and then by the end they didn't. So I kept wondering what really is the impact I'm having. So
right.
Okay, next question. How did you feel about our relationship with our community partners?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love them so much. Josh and Roberta were so kind and like welcoming to us, and were always quick to respond to emails. They really were hoping for us to succeed with this project because obviously they're going to benefit from it. But it was even more than that. They just wanted us to, I think, succeed as individuals, and they really poured a lot of their time and efforts into putting together the focus groups, helping with interviews, helping us get contacts, information, all that type of thing. So
yeah, essentially ditto to what Maggie just said. It was also like so clear their passion for the organization. Like they were so excited about like getting a chance to like really better the organization, and they were so sweet to us. Like the fact that they invited us to their Christmas party was like that was wonderful. And I like so wish that we were still in town to go, but it was awesome to see these people who like so clearly devoted their lives to this and like see where they started, and like especially like with Josh, like see where he started and like where he is now. I thought that was really cool.
Kind of going off that, how Roberta was a volunteer and then becoming, and Josh tried to volunteer for a little bit. It didn't really work out with how busy he was, but yeah, I think that they were awesome. And going into what difficulties did you face? I'm sorry. What do you guys think?
I think one difficulty that we definitely faced was the scheduling. The three of us are really busy people, and Josh and Roberta are really busy people, so just trying to make that all line up was a headache. I think like that was our upfront, like clearest challenge that we had to overcome, like project aside. The challenges that we faced in that.
And do you guys think like with direct service where you're meeting with a partner, like that's less of an issue? You know, like if you go and volunteer once a week, you set that schedule for yourself. You're not having to work with a group. Kind of going back to the difference
I think that's
between
another.
this type of service learning and another, and maybe that's why you preferred that, or it was like
I haven't thought about that before, but you're totally right.
The direct service is kind of just more individual when we had to schedule all our things. So
it's a lot more responsibility. Well, like even at the beginning of the semester with the other service learning opportunities, like you would give them your schedule, and then they would fit you kind of into the partnership. Whereas like for this, we got more freedom to like put down our recommendations, and then, as you said, like building our own schedules, especially with like 3 conflicting schedules. It is difficult.
Yeah, it was. And based on just the organization, I think something that came up for our whole class was just how small these organizations are.
Definitely.
And that was like a difficulty with realizing that. And I feel like bigger organizations that we work with, like maybe you work direct service with like the YMCA, like that's a big organization, but we were working with such a small organization. And many other groups were too, so.
Yeah, but I think we still did well, and we laid out our expectations, and like we made sure to communicate, and we would do check-ins, or like we would meet up for lunch or something after class to like try to catch up, stuff like that. So like we definitely, I think, made up for our difficulties.
Yeah.
What skills do you believe that you learned despite those difficulties?
Honestly, just in general, how to make something like this.
Yeah.
I, coming into the class, had no idea, like, what a strategic communications plan is, and now I've actually created one. And also just, like, the fact that working with our schedules, I think, taught me, like, a greater sense of, like, teamwork and responsibility, and more of, like, an adult sense, you know what I mean? Like, it was...
More like real life.
Yeah, because it wasn't just our grades or the project that this was depending on. Like, this was an actual organization that was depending on us. I think that would be something that I learned.
That went through it like constantly in my mind. It wasn't just how could we do this to get a good grade. It was how can we do this to make them happy. And like that was always in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, but if we did this, maybe it would look better for the project or whatever. But it wouldn't be feasible. Like if maybe the organization was the perfect audience, but we reached out to them and they said no, not using them despite the fact that they said no, like shifting our focus to a different audience. Like, so I thought that was definitely, and also just the skill of working with such a small organization and like the skill of, like you said, building a communications plan. So like that was definitely such a valuable skill to have learned. And seeing how a nonprofit works, like such a small nonprofit.
Yeah, really up close. Like we can talk about it all we want in class, but it's so different to actually see like what they do.
Yeah, Josh meeting with us at like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday because that's when he had time and like just for us.
He's
so
nice.
So nice.
The best.
So I think lastly, going back, is there anything you would change about this experience?
I think I would have. I would have liked to like lay out more objectives in the beginning. I think like in the time, like hindsight's 2020. Like in the timing of it, we thought we were like so ahead, and like we were like, we're comfortable with this, like, we're doing great, and then like when we got to like I think it was like when after we turned in the draft, like halfway through the semester, that was like when it like really kicked in, and we were like, oh shoot, like we have to do this, we gotta do that, and so I think I would have liked to have a better like foresight into like what we needed to accomplish later on.
Yeah. And something that we struggled with was the Thanksgiving break happened, and that we realized we had to get all our audiences, but no one would answer us due to the break. Like we're still getting emails to this day responding to emails. Responding to emails that we sent out over Thanksgiving break saying, I'm sorry, everything was busy, like holiday happened, but here we go. So that was something I wish we would have, like we kept saying, oh, if we had like known this like 2 weeks prior, we could have gotten so much more done. And I don't think that was the fault of anything. It's just how it turned out. So the last week really turned into so much crunch time of like
a lot.
What we needed to get done. And I think we all can agree that we wish that week could be split out over 3 weeks. Like there were so many things. We had a timeline going through and we really worked to like keep it up. And I was like, what we're doing right now, I'm like, oh, can you do this by the end of the hour? But I would have been like, can you do this by next week if we had more time? Because that's the time that should have been allotted for it. And not that we didn't do our best and it wasn't thorough, but I just think that could have been
a lot less stressful.
A lot less stressful.
Yeah.
I think another part of it is that it was all of our first experiences doing something like this, so that we didn't really know what we were totally getting into until the end. And that's like sort of something I wish I could change, and even though there's no way to do it, but I almost wish I had like taken this class before I had
like
done the project for the class, because we were really learning as we were going. And trying to figure out how to do it.
I did like how, like going off that, I did like though how Kate set up the class where we were learning things in class and then directly applying them to the project. I think if we didn't have that format, I think we would have been a lot more lost, especially since we are new to this.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that was like a helpful thing, like
Yeah.
to just go through, because as we said, like we had
We had
never
no
heard
idea.
of a
Yeah.
communications plan before.
Yeah.
To new
Yeah.
those things.
Any final thoughts?
I had a great time working on this project with you guys.
Yeah, you too. We got very close the last week. We were spending a lot of time together. So,
Time
that's
together.
awesome. So thank you so much. This was our little video, and have a great service learning expo.